Welcome to a very special episode of Keeping Up with the West. This is our big Life of Pablo review. I'm Brad.
I'm Eric.
And we're very excited about this album. I hope some of you got the chance to listen to Eric's live listen along. Eric, what was that like for you?
It was discombobulating. It was pretty sweet. Getting to actually react in time, because that's what I would have done. Like when I first heard Yeezus, I probably threw the headphones down and yelled to myself in celebration of some cool lines, in confusion over the beats. And anytime something ridiculous happened, I was like, I wish I had someone to tell this to, because this is pure insanity.
Yeah.
And actually getting to do that on this record, which was a lot of fun. And if you enjoy those kind of commentaries, you can cue up the record and listen along with me figuring out the album. And I'm excited to actually listen to it later, just to now that I've processed the album more, to hear my initial reactions, where I'm like, oh shit, did I think that? Or
My first listen to this album was a little bit different. I was in the camp of people who were trying to listen along to the live stream. We did that.
Yeah.
It was like a Thursday afternoon. It was
you were knee deep in hose.
Definitely an interesting way to listen to an album for the first time, especially since my computer crashed halfway through and I jumped back in.
I'm laughing at you, but that's how I live tweeted the Oscars. My stream kept crashing. Because we were watching on TV, and then my wife got really mad at me because I kept yelling about things, and she turned it off.
And so the worst part was after that debut, I guess you can call it the debut of the album, it wasn't anywhere. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like there was a CD ready to buy. It wasn't online available to buy or stream or anything. It was like, okay, well, is this coming out still? Are you going to make changes more? And from the impression I got, he did keep making changes up until the very last minute that it came out.
And I do love all the jokes about how he's the first artist to go the fastest artist to go platinum on Pirate Bay, because no one wants to get Tidal. And by the way, what a shame that he didn't end up calling it Waves, because it would have been Tidal Waves. Yeah.
Do you think he originally named it Waves in hopes of that?
No, I think so I've just been on the cocaine binging train as far as all this erratic behavior.
As far as your theory as to what's causing this, not your own cocaine binging train.
No, yeah. Yeah, that's it. So Neil Brennan of co-creator of Chappelle's Show, and he just did a final episode of the Champs podcast with Moshe Kasher, and he was talking about his Kanye theory, is that because he knows Kanye, he knows the flows Kanye, he knows the old Kanye, so he knows Kanye, and so he was saying that whenever Kanye's albums come out, Kanye goes into kind of a pre-album mania. And he didn't say anything.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't say anything about bipolar disorder. He didn't say anything about drugs. He said it just seems like in this one situation, he goes absolutely manic and just out of his mind. So who knows? But that's an interesting theory as well. I think he's just his dressing room at SNL must have just been you would have thought there was a blizzard in there. That's what I feel like was in his dressing room.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that explains all the irritability backstage. I'm telling you, I know he says things like he doesn't do drugs anymore, but dude, this is pure insanity.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Asking Mark, I almost said Mark Wahlberg, Mark Facebook for $1 bajillion, and talking about being $54 million in debt. He's out of his mind. I'm sorry. Let's talk about the album. I'm fascinated by this.
Let's focus.
We picked a hell of a time
to touch on his personal issues another day.
Yeah, that's true. Many other days.
So let's start on the album. Well, first off, the album art. The just wall of text with a couple of random family photos. Well, one's a family photo. The other, I presume, is not a family photo.
Well, that's one hot cousin.
Yeah. Take on that?
I love it. I don't know
You love
why. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of his album art has just been so fucking good.
Yeah.
I love the whole college mascot thing for the early albums. I loved the cartoon art on Graduation. I don't remember what 808s and Heartbreak looked like, to be honest. But
With that paper heart being torn apart by like these cartoon hands.
Didn't give a shit. Don't care. Dude, those what's it called? Dark Fantasy and this record and I guess Yeezus too. I'm forgetting what Yeezus looked like. What Yeezus looked like?
It was nothing. It was just a clear CD case.
Oh, that's right. Well, I think that's cool too. Like
orange sticker on it.
The last
it was super
3
cool. And like that was so fitting for that album, I thought.
Yeah, absolutely. It was stripped down just like the album was, and I love the whole story. The producer, well, he hired another producer to come in to just go, and who listened to it and was like, just take a bunch of stuff out. Just take a bunch of stuff out. I love the lore behind all these albums, but I like the last 3 records have been as what's that term for like weird art, abject art,
modern art,
mo art, yeah. Whatever, who gives a shit. It's just this weird like art stuff that actually fits the style of the music, and I think that's really cool. What did you think about the album cover?
I like it too, and I like that it's almost designed to piss people off, like because people are like, well, what is this? Like the words overlapping. Like you didn't align it right, or they're going to say.
It looks like the advertisements on a clickbait site.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just think it's great. Like, you
should have put Comic Sans for a font to piss people off.
But even that would be like too much. Like, all right, we know what you're trying to do here. This is like this is what it is. It's a perfect balance of, well, does he think this looks great, or is he trying to like, is he just trolling us? It's a perfect blend of the two.
Fucking love it. I love every bit of it. Unlike the album, but if you want to dive right in.
So and so to transition from the art to the music, much like the music, the art changed up until the very last minute too.
Yeah.
Where like the day before the premiere, he said, "Here's the album art," and then a couple of days later, "All right, new version. Here's a new version of the album art."
Now, do you know which offhand? And if not, we can just skip right by this because I know in my listen through, I made some predictions. It felt like there were a handful of tracks that he must have added on because like this record seems like 12 solid tracks, 10 solid tracks, and then some shit just thrown in, some B-sides that he got really excited about after that live or whatever the Square. But do you know what was added after the fact?
Well, I think I haven't cross-referenced the tweets from that notepad that he was tweeting out for the weeks leading up to it.
Yeah.
Like that notepad with the track list from the studio. So I haven't
cross-referenced. I think you have to have a forensics degree to figure out what's going on.
That's what makes him so great, man. It's so much fun. You're not just listening to the album. You're doing detective work here.
It's like a J.J. Abrams film.
Yeah. You got fan theories and everything up in Kanye. So my let me pull the track listing up here. My feeling about it is the album ends after Wolves. Then that Silver Surfer intermission is like the beginning of the epilogue.
Yeah. And
the last few tracks are like treated as bonus tracks.
Yeah.
And there's
Kendrick couldn't even make it onto the Kendrick couldn't make it onto the A side. That song was, I felt it was fine. I got too excited about it at the beginning. I wasn't a huge fan of that song. I
remember you weren't a huge fan at the beginning.
I can't wait for us to talk about Real Friends. I love that song so much right now.
So over the course of the album, I feel like there's definitely acts, and like there's the first third, the second third, the third, and then there's that last quarter of the album, I guess, is the epilogue.
Math skills, everybody.
Well, if you treat the first three,
let's just be honest. You're just using a roundabout way of saying that the whole is literally greater than the sum of its parts.
Technically, it's the same.
All right, math jokes are stupid.
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
So let's just jump into it. First song, Ultralight Beam. I'm pretty sure it's my favorite song on the album.
Yeah.
And like quickly, climbing the ranks of favorite Kanye songs of all.
Ooh, really? I gotta listen to it some more. I've listened to it 4 or 5 times. I like it. I think it's one of the best songs on the album.
Yeah.
There's just like 3 albums of Kanye's I like more than everything on this album. What do you like about it, like in particular?
I mean, it's that gospel choir.
You
The Chance's verse is insane.
You're right. God damn it.
I
liked him better on the live SNL. I think. I mean, whatever. I mean, live versus thing.
Great live,
but
yeah.
Point being, most of the time, hip hop is not as good live. Like that's just unless you like really change the song up to fit a band.
Yeah.
But on SNL, Chance came out and killed it. I didn't know who he was, and he just destroyed.
Did you go back and watch his performance when he was on SNL?
I don't know. I skipped that shit.
I'm saying, like, you got to go back and watch that then.
I will. I can't tell you the SNL performances. The first song is like the pop hit, and that's great. But it's like the first minute, I get so jaded because I just see whether it's a indie folk rock band or like a hip hop artist R&B or a pop, but trying to show the artistic side. The first minute, I'm just like, I see your gimmick. I get it. Like it's the hashtag Wiz wears cool pants. Like that's all I can think of whenever I see any of those people. Because I'm like, yeah, I get your shtick. I get it. You're full of shit. Write a good song. And then I get so mad. And then the second song is always like the slowed down, like I'm a serious artist, but it's really just 4 slow chords and like it goes nowhere. And sorry, what were we talking about?
And you must be a real fun guy at parties, huh?
Yeah, right. Not Oscar parties.
Yeah.
Definitely not that.
So yeah, I don't know, this song, I just listen to it and I'm like, if I'm, walking to work or in my room or whatever, just cranking it up and just like, I don't know, I feel it.
It is. It's got a good. Oh, and here's something this is a note for the whole album that I really love. The 2 things that this album masters in a way that hip hop has done before, but not to like this level. First off is the triplets. This album is this is like a Story So Far album. It's just triplets after triplets after triplets. And I love that. And I forgot the name of the Eminem song. I still haven't learned it. But there's one Eminem song that he just does triplets for 4 straight minutes. And I was like, oh shit, that's that whole thing. And it like brings it back to this old school hip hop feel. And Ultra Beam has that a lot. But also, this record is mostly in halftime. That is not something hip hop has really like, touched upon. Like, and for those of you who aren't like musicians or whatever, halftime, like anytime you hear a rock band or even like a metal band do a breakdown where all of a sudden it feels like everything's coming crashing around you, that's halftime. They make the smallest changes in like usually just drums, and occasionally they'll do something with guitars or whatnot, and all of a sudden it makes this huge boom, bah, boom, 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 like that kind of thing.
So without the context of it being in a breakdown, what makes it halftime versus just being a slow tempo?
Because some of the song, I guess, God damn it, way to ask me a music theory question. Now I have to shed the facade that I actually know what I'm talking about. Is son of a bitch, you know me too well. It's like, in my opinion, it's perspective. So like if the beat is like if there is a time where you really are, maybe it's kept by a hi-hat where you can hear the beat is, it can be slow.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden when it's halftime. So it's
just a bigger sound.
Yeah. So like the simplest explanation of like, say you have a normal drum like a boo boo ka boo 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 ka. Or sorry, boo ka boo ka. Double time would be when it kind of goes into, it doesn't speed up, but boo 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 ka boo 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 ka boo 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 ka, and then halftime is boo ka. But it's just like, imagine cutting the tempo in half or doubling the tempo. Yeah, right. And I see what you're saying. I guess it has to do with like, it also rides on the backbeat, which is like a big thing of like what makes something, I guess, and fine, it's just perspective. God damn it, Fred. That's one of the greatest musical conundrums. What's the difference between halftime and just a slow beat? Son of a bitch. Because look at it like a standard deviation, a normal curve. Most beats fall between 90 and 110 beats per minute. If it's beyond 110, it's probably double time. If it's below 90, then it's probably halftime.
There we go. Okay. So yeah, this is, I will say this is my favorite song on the album, and I love that it's the first track, and it just like really sets the tone, I think, for where this is going.
It does. I'm still listening as I go through. It's really cool because this song does. I'm repeating myself now from the other podcast, but this record reminds me, the song in particular, a lot of Watch the Throne, but where Watch the Throne was like an ADD version of this record.
Yeah.
Like this, it was just like
this record wasn't ADD.
Yeah, it was very ADD. That's good point. Good point. Oh, sorry. I should have had something prepped to talk while you sipped.
So let's move on. Father, Stretch My Hands. We can put these part 1 and part 2. They're fine. Like, I'll preface my whole review here with all these. I more or less view all these tracks as essential to the album because I don't know. I don't think it's my place to say this song should be cut or this song should. Yeah.
Well, you're a more humble man than I.
Because it's all part of his vision.
From my iTunes. Like I have my version of the album.
So I think it's, but yeah, I don't think it's anything spectacular.
I actually like these two.
Oh yeah?
The first one, yeah. Because the first one, there wasn't that much, honestly, going on. It's a cool beat. They're both 2 minutes long, so it's like by the time you're like done with what it's presented to you, you're like, all right, it's over. So it's like I enjoy it. It's like you walk in a room, and the overrated thing, like that's cool. Liberated, not overrated. That's a Freudian slip here. No, he's not overrated. There's no way. So unless he writes his own reviews, but like the vocal melodies, and not just the autotune stuff, but the vocal melodies are so like top notch. He really like spent the time to like get them where they need to be. And also in Father Stretch My Hands Part 1, that the model bleached asshole line. Yeah. Anytime something crazy but also kind of profound, like this, that whole stanza is just insane. The fact that I'm talking about bleached assholes as a stanza is like. And by the way, that My Dick Has a GoPro line in the other song, like I thought that was like, wow, what a cool crazy thing to say. And then I heard like the bleached asshole stanza, and I was like, you're just topping yourself every time, Con.
Yeah. So yeah, they're good. I enjoy the tracks, but it's nothing that I'm like, oh, when it comes on, I'm like, yeah, this is my jam.
How do I pronounce the feature on Part 2? Is that Deslinger?
I think it's just
Designer,
right? It's 2 eyes.
Designer. Do I not know how to read? Oh, Designer. That's why there's 17 eyes. Okay, that he does a triplet part. He kind of even has the features doing triplet parts. Like it's like so many triplets, and like he does one of the coolest like choppy triplet things. It's like something that like Twista would have done. By the way, where is Twista? He crushed slow jams. He's an amazing. Him and Nate Dogg. If he and Nate Dogg had just done an album.
This is still alive,
that would have
right?
been amazing. Yeah, well, Twista is. I'm sure Nate Dogg's got some stuff somewhere that was like, if Biggie and Pac had 700 albums, I bet like Nate Dogg has a couple of hooks they didn't use you could throw on another record. Man, sometime we got to talk about the epic bomb that could not have been less. I don't know why it was bad. There was a record that Nate Dogg, Snoop Dogg, and I want to say Warren G did together, and it sounds like the greatest album ever. Yeah. It's like in the height of Death Row mania, and it's garbage. Like, they must have just like done it in a minute. Anyway, Famous with Rihanna. That's how you say it, Rihanna.
Yep. Yeah, this I feel like this is the song that got the most press when it came out for the Taylor Swift line. Mm-hmm. Which
she responded well to that, correct?
Yeah, everybody everywhere responded well to that. I
love that he like.
And he really knows what he's doing. That's the best part. Like he knows it's going to get a lot of flack for that line.
But you know he believes it because he's like me. This is, I think, why I love Kanye, because he's like me. Because Kanye loves Kanye, but like he does. My wife accuses me of this all the time, and I never admit it, but it's so true. I kind of go into something where if I hear something, I go, or I see something, it never existed until I saw it. until it came into my life, it never existed. But that's just like how my brain kind of functions.
Yeah.
And so like,
and you just kind of build you get one little piece of information and you build a whole story around it.
Well, now you're just,
what you do.
Okay, that I can't even admit to myself. It's true, but I can't admit it to myself yet. I'm still working on that. Yeah. But with the Taylor Swift thing, he believes.
Same thing with Kanye.
I think Kanye believes that she just materialized when he took the stage.
Yeah.
And that's why I think he really thinks he made her famous. I knew who Taylor Swift was before then, long before then, because didn't she do like country stuff when she was a teen or something?
She was plenty popular before.
She's been famous for like ever.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, anytime I go to a celebrity like Wikipedia page and they're like a teen celebrity or whatever, and there's a section for early life, fuck you. Fuck you. Yeah. Are you kidding me? Early life, suck my dick. Famous since you were 12.
Born in 1995.
Yeah, it's early life. Yeah. Attended, Waverly Elementary School.
That was 2 years ago for you.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oh man. So anything else from famous?
So otherwise, from the song, I know I had a. Oh, I have a note from when I was listening to your listen through.
Yeah.
That Rihanna's voice is great, and you love her voice on a feature, but not on a whole album.
Yep, her and Nate Dogg. I'm telling you, all these great features. God damn. Although, and did so this record has both Rihanna and Chris Brown on it.
It's true. That's true. Do you ever think there was an awkward like pass by in the hallway of the studio as like she was leaving her session and he was walking in?
I feel like they had to record those 50 yards apart.
Yeah.
Like there was some paper signed.
Maybe Kanye went to them for those recording sessions.
Yeah, that's holy shit. That's crazy. Kanye, and you know what's of the last 100 things Kanye's bragged about, that's not one of them. Like, and that is just, there's so many things he could be talking shit about. Is like, I put out a record with Chris Brown and Rihanna on it, and nobody said shit.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. That's really good. Yeah, the biggest story is that he talked about Taylor Swift, not the fact that he got Chris Brown and Rihanna on the same album.
Yeah, it doesn't. I love Kanye so much.
Oh man, I can't believe I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I win. Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I'm speechless. Well, I'm still talking.
Yeah,
I have nothing to say.
So how pumped was feedback at you?
Not at all. I hate feedback.
You hate feedback? Why? Too much feedback?
You and I. There's no actual feedback in it. He has a stupid sense. No. You and I have always had this thing where we like the same bands.
Yeah.
And we like and the same records from the same bands are our favorite records from those bands. But you and I have completely opposing favorite songs.
That's so much fun.
It's the weirdest thing. That's how, and I think when it comes to like not the first time, but like one of the first times we argued about a record was Kesha's Animal record, whereas like the 4 songs I skip are your favorites, and pretty much vice versa.
Yeah.
But so, as far as pop and hip hop production, I think you and I have very different takes on what makes it good, and feedback is just one of those beats where like it does nothing for me. Which is also why I think Stretch My Hands Part 1 does something for me, but not you. I think those are kind of like stark differences of just the beat. Mm-hmm. But yeah, sorry. So, okay, feedback gets you pumped. You jump in the club.
I'm ready to get that paper.
You are ready to get the paper. So, Brad, you and I went to college.
I'm ready to wake up and get that paper.
You and I went to college together, and both had similar, kind of, I don't know, whatever. We were social, but we weren't crazy partier dudes. And then I guess you started going to clubs and shit in DC, dancing. And I didn't know this. And then I went with you to see in DC to see the Yeezus tour. And all of a sudden the beat drops and you start fucking just and I don't even know I don't know you anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know how to interact with you. You know how to hip hop dance. I don't even know what to call it.
It was always there, man. I feel I don't know where it came from, but I just know it was always there.
And you look good.
It was just dormant. It was just dormant for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, I think that beat triggers that in you, and for me, it just reminds me of standing in the back of a club, going like, "Can it be 2 a.m. so I can hit on somebody who's about to go home? Pretend I'm here the whole time." No, I'm just kidding.
See, my version of the hitting on is to dancing. That's my pickup line.
No, that is like if I farted in public. That's what me dancing is. It's just cleaving everybody out. I look really good, just kind of like I joked recently with just like a friend of mine. It was that I probably should like, I mean, I'm married now, but when I was single, I probably would have had a lot more luck if I just showed up at bars at like 1:59 and pretended I was there the whole time and just be like, whoever's left. Like, because anytime I showed up before then, it was a train wreck and a half. Yeah. Highlights, lowlights. What are we doing?
Lowlights and highlights. Another kind of 2-part track.
I hate lowlights. I fucking hate. Oh, sorry.
Why?
Sorry, go on. Because I don't like God.
Okay, so I'll preface my review too. It's like I don't listen to lyrics. You know this. Yeah. At least until like the first 50 listens, and then I'll get to lyrics eventually. So I just view this as like a. What'd you say?
Until they say something about fucking Taylor Swift, they're like, "Well, I gotta rewind that." That's just
Unless it's like punching me in the face with the lyrics, then I'll get to it later.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's just like a very passionate song about something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
All right, now highlights. That's this one feels like and I've mentioned this before, how it's like this record kind of melds his new whatever it's like style with his old style, and this song could have been on Graduation or 808s. I think.
I agree.
And now he did this on SNL too, right?
Yeah, it was he did highlights and lowlights, or lowlights and highlights together.
Okay. Oh, right, that makes sense.
And because lowlights is just 2 minutes of somebody else singing, we get 2 minutes of Kanye just kind of standing there, dancing around a little bit, feeling, just vibing out, which is always fun to watch.
I love the end.
The Ray J line.
Wait, what?
I said I was going to guess the Ray J line.
Which is that one?
I bet me and Ray J would have been friends.
Oh, I love that line. I fucking love that line. Holy shit. It's so honest and introspective. But no, the ending of I guess it's Young Thug, the end of highlights, the need to know if you're freaking not. Like that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
The vocal melody is so good. And then the beat just breaks down one instrument at a time.
Yep. And
that's it. It's beautiful. The codas on this record are so good. Every coda that they have is fantastic. Oh my God.
What was I gonna say? I've lost it now.
Do you know?
The Ray J line. He calls his own wife a bitch on his album.
Wait, Dr. Dre did that, but never did it in real life.
But for someone who's so like openly like, I love my wife and everything she does, I'm so supportive of her. But me and Ray J love the same bitch.
But why? Yeah, that's well. Yeah, he's got a. By the way, the Freestyle 4. When I first heard it, I thought because the first 6 songs were like gospel-y, or 7 songs were gospel-y, I thought the lines he says it's that rap God shit. I thought he said enough of that God shit, and I was like, that's so fitting for Kanye. I didn't say it on the thing because I didn't. Well, I guess it wasn't the first time I listened. The second time I listened, I thought that's what he said, and I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious." That makes sense. This whole like badass beat and blah blah blah. But no, I'm just an idiot. He just called himself a god again.
Yeah, Freestyle 4, and we'll get to it. But when it came out, I was like, "This has a very like Odd Future, Tyler the Creator kind of vibe to it."
Yeah.
And sure enough, a couple of days ago, Tyler the Creator put out his own remix to it.
Oh, that's cool. I've never really gotten too much into Odd Future. I will follow Tyler the Creator on Twitter till the day I die, because just solely for was it cyberbullying? That's not a thing. Just like walk away, close your eyes, walk away from the screen, close your eyes.
Yeah,
that's one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Like, close your eyes. Oh my God. I don't understand how people can be that succinct with jokes. Well, I don't understand how people can be succinct. I Love Kanye is the next song that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I liked what he did on SNL better.
When, like in the little battle rap with Kyle?
Yeah, with Kyle. Yeah. Which as we all know, it's a Kyle song featuring Kanye West. It's not It's not a Kanye song anymore. Right. I also love that, like, so go.
I want to know the timeline of this song and that sketch and how it all fits in, because he did, like, theoretically, no one knew this song until he played it Thursday at the premiere of the album, right? And then 2 days later, he was on SNL and they did that sketch. Yeah. So did he bring the song to SNL early in the week and they wrote it then? Did he? I don't know.
I like to imagine.
Did they write it? Did they write the sketch after Thursday's performance or after Thursday's premiere?
I like to imagine. Well, I'm sure what happened was they said, Kanye, can you spit something? And that's what he chose to spit. But I like to imagine that they never told Kanye about the sketch, and that's just what happened.
He just walked up and they had a camera there.
Yeah, he walked up and camera there.
You know what? That's a more fun way to believe it. I'm going to go with that.
And that's how I live my life. It's, you know what? You gave me a blessing and a curse. Like, you and I both loved Calvin and Hobbes, like, forever. And for my birthday, my wife got me the hard copied embroidered version of the Calvin and Hobbes, like, whole thing, because I read it to my daughter now. And like, I cannot wait to Calvin and Hobbes this chick up. But, like, I'm reading her this stuff, and it reminded me how you told me, like, one of your life philosophies, at least at the time of college, was this Calvin and Hobbes sketch. Jesus, this Calvin and Hobbes strip.
Comic strip.
Yeah, strip. And where Calvin is, like, cracking eggs over a pan, and he's talking about how he covers up one eye to give himself no depth perception, because the fun in life is the challenge and little things.
Yeah, just make yourself little challenges.
Yep, and I love that. You told me that, and I was like, that's a great way to live life. Like, that makes so many. I use that to be, like, in so many, like, creative ways to make boring things interesting. Then I got a smartphone. Fuck that. But, like, dude, I'm telling you, like, that's such a beautiful way to live life.
You are in charge of your life. Might as well make it fun, right?
Yeah. And so create the most interesting version of reality. But that fucks me over. Well, fuck me over, because I forget sometimes when I just created a story in my head and I say it with such certainty to my wife, and then she tells it to people at parties and they go, like, what are you talking about? That's not how it happened. And I hear about it. Anyway, what were we talking about again?
The last thing on I Love Kanye. So soon after the album came out, like, some people were making their own remixes to it, and I heard one that was, like, classic Kanye sound, like a soul sample sped up and put under that beat, or put under that
cool
track, which is, like, cool. Like, it's, you know, it's a nice throwback to the old Kanye. But I love what he did on this version with just the vocals.
Yeah. If this had a beat, fuck that. Yeah. Like, this is perfect as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And his little laugh at the end, like, he knows, like, that's. Yeah. If anybody doesn't think he knows what he's doing, listen to that song. Like, it's 45 seconds long. Listen to that. That sums up Kanye.
It's like, it's the inverse of, I think, those, like, videos online that go viral because they're obviously, like, somebody being an idiot and doesn't realize it. But Kanye, it's like the inverse, where those people who are, like, having these, like, accidental viral videos, or the guy who made the movie The Room, that dude. Yeah. It's like 90% of him thinks he is a legitimate artist, and 10% thinks he's, like, I guess it's funny and I don't get why.
Yeah.
Kanye's the flip, though. He is very insightful, but that 10% of the time, because he's so high profile, he doesn't know how he's being perceived. It makes it's like I don't know, it's like people who watch NASCAR for the car crashes. It's a pretty cool thing. I don't give a shit about NASCAR, but I'm from someone who likes NASCAR. I would bet it's a cool thing. It's a cool sport. It's fun. And also there's a 10% chance that it'll have a fiery explosion in the end. Yeah. That's Kanye. Yeah. Like, that's how I feel about Kanye. And I think that adds to the excitement. Yeah. The singer of Against Me once said, that she loves watching like punk bands or bands in general who they have a mastery of their songs and their instruments, but there's a slight chance where it feels like it could all fall off the rails. And the best part of a live performance is when everybody's pushing themselves to the point where it's like it's exciting because this sounds really good, but it also feels like it could just fall apart at any moment. And that's the excitement factor that you get in these.
So moving on to Waves. Yeah. This is I think if I remember correctly, this song almost was not going to be on the album until Chance pushed for it really hard.
Oh.
And got it on.
Oh, cool.
And I think even kind of, you know, quote unquote, blamed him for the delay of the release because he's like, Chance is working on Waves, so that will be up soon. And I feel bad. Like the song, it's fine to me. It doesn't really do as much for me, and I feel bad. Because I love Chance the Rapper, and I want to like this song because he apparently was so passionate about it. But it's just, it's a good song. Like, you know, like I said in the beginning, these are all good songs, but.
To me, it was just, Chris Brown has a good voice. That's all I took away from that. I was like, what a good voice. It's like, dude, is there a serious thing with like women beaters who do R&B who are like amazing? Is like Bobby Brown, or is it just people with the last name Brown who do R&B who beat their wives and have amazing voices? Like, dude, it's like they say like you can do whatever crazy shit you want as long as you keep putting up good stuff. Yeah. Like if the art is good, people just kind of forgive it. R. Kelly did the whole peeing on a 15-year-old, then put out Chocolate Factory, and everyone was like, "Yeah, forgive him." Like it's Chocolate Factory, you can't fuck with Chocolate Factory. That album is amazing. Like Dave Chappelle said, that album is scandal-proof. Oh man, I love. And then I'm getting into tangents, but Dave Chappelle has a lot of great shit you can find on YouTube of him doing stand-up over the past decade. That I would highly recommend. FML. I'll share more about Waves.
No, got nothing more about Waves.
FML is great. Billy, you said you feel like it ends after Wolves. I feel like it ends after Real Friends, and FML is kind of the perfect build-up to a final song, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like, FML is the climax, and Real Friends is the kind of like the cool down that walks you out the door.
Yeah. And I know you said you weren't too familiar with The Weeknd before this song, right?
Nope, had no idea who that guy was except for that bird's nest on his head, and he was on SNL, and he did some bullshit song. I might have been angry that night, but like,
sounds like it.
This is gimmick.
I've been a big fan of The Weeknd for a while, and I'm like glad he's like getting popular now and is doing more stuff. I thought his album last year was really good, especially in light of his pretty crappy album that came before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's great on this track. I think it's a great honest Kanye track. You know, he's talking about being off his Lexi Pro.
Oh, and I mentioned this on that other one where it's like he talks twice about two different like medications, and this happens very rarely. Like Fall Out Boy tried to do this where they talked about medications, and they actually kind of had the wrong medication for the disease they were talking about, which makes me know I'm like, you're full of shit. Love Fall Out Boy.
Because your lyrics have never been.
Yeah, it's fair.
It's always been more about what fits right in this phrasing.
Yeah. But like I was like, a lot of people who talk about these psych drugs don't actually know. I'm in the field of psych, and so like hearing 2 times accurate references about different psych drugs, I was like, oh shit, this is some real shit right here. This is nobody's messing around.
And just like a very you know, much like the rest of this album, just stripped down kind of song with like just kind of almost not random, but dissonant noises coming in and out.
Yeah. It really adds to the like it uses the same thing as a lot of hardcore and like death metal bands do to make it like they add the dissonant noises to make a sense of tension where you're just like on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
So real quick about The Weeknd. I'm going to ask you a question, Brad, and this is going to let you know if you really, truly know me to the point of, like, psychic levels, okay? So no pressure if you don't get this.
All right.
If I were a member of the group of people who were employed by the artist The Weeknd, and let's say I was maybe the bus driver
Yeah.
but everyone on the bus, it was The Weeknd plus everyone who was under The Weeknd's employ. What song would I put on repeat to fuck with The Weeknd? To fit the context of the situation.
Yeah. I want to say remix, the Ignition remix.
No, it would be Everybody's Working for the Weekend.
Okay, that's good. So the remix to Ignition has a line, it's the freaking weekend, baby, I'm about to have me some fun.
No, that would be you because you actually, like, that would pump the crowd up.
Fun.
Yeah, you see, I'm trying to bring everybody down.
I'm with you. Yeah, I see you.
You are a fun and enjoyable person to be around. That's where the disconnect comes. Can we talk about Real Friends?
We can talk about Real Friends. Oh no, one thing I liked in your review or in your listen through on FML was what?
I said, yeah, we can talk about that. Give it to me.
Yeah, you talked about the concept of the rapper, singer, songwriter. On this song. So I wanted you to flesh that out a little bit. That's what we call a setup on FML.
Real Friends or FML? Okay, FML. I don't recall what I was talking about. Let me. I don't know.
I think we kind of covered like the concept of that very honest, open songwriting.
Oh, yes, I got you. Oh, and I pictured in the future.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I got you. Thank you for bringing that up. I would have never remembered that again. But I want to think about that more and talk about it in the future because I think that is a cool concept now that I'm remembering it. I haven't really thought about it anymore, so I wouldn't have much to add. But like, I think that is a very cool concept, and I don't think it's the one thought I have is it doesn't extend, it extends past hip hop, and with all the digital music that's being made, like I feel like that could be any genre. Like any genre could start having singer-songwriters, and like there's no reason because of how you can produce pop now or hip hop or R&B. There's no reason that pop, as in the style of music, or anything along, or electronic dance music or any of that, has to be a big production. Like, I feel like if you can take a rock band and dilute it down to one person and a guitar or a piano and a microphone, you could do that even if you included a laptop. You don't need all the smoke and the lights and the huge productions. I feel like a lot of these genres, maybe someday, hopefully near in the future, we could have kind of an intimate version of a lot of these other genres, which I think would be a really interesting concept because there are entire methods of rock music where it's, or blues or jazz, where it's stripped down. And you don't really have that a lot with these other genres. And I think you very much can. And
I could definitely see that happening too in the near future, like for how overproduced everything is now and everything is so perfect and timed right and there's no mistakes ever in any songs. I feel like we're just going to get tired of that soon. And we're gonna want some more honesty in the music.
Well, if you think about different genres that have been successful, classical music, or what we think of as like basically piano or maybe piano plus, orchestra, that had so long to develop. And that's kind of the first like real highly categorized or whatever catalog music that we have. And then you have other genres that have not been around for nearly as long. And of those genres, jazz, blues, and rock are pretty much the ones that have been around the longest. And we've seen like I think about hip hop on the same timeline as rock. Granted, the internet speeds up a lot of things. That said, I feel like I've said this in the last few years that I think right now we're in that time of late 60s, early 70s rock, but with hip hop, where all sorts of craziness is going to happen. And we've just started to see the tip of the iceberg. We've barely gotten our Beatles, and that's honestly probably Kanye, I would say. As for the genre, we probably have our Beatles. But like the Beatles aren't everything with rock. We have not gotten our Pink Floyd, our Led Zeppelin. We haven't gotten our Black Sabbath. We haven't gotten all of that in hip hop. All of that is coming. And I feel like in the next couple decades, we're going to get a huge shift of what we consider hip hop, just like rock had in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm excited.
Really excited. Yeah, that makes me very excited. I do. I've had the same. I haven't had the I guess the backstory, like you have the back thought, but I've just had the feeling that like we're entering a very good time for hip hop music.
Yeah, I hope so. Because those 2000s, goddamn Cash Money and Fat Joe, I did not want any of that club baller shit. That was such a bummer. Like when gangster rap died out, gangster rap was fun, it was cool, it was like gave us a lot of bullshit, but also a lot of like honest looks at cultures we didn't know and experiences we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just like I'm happy to have it, but then it's like I want to see what else is there, like what else the genre can do, and there's more than gangster or baller. Like there's so much more.
Yeah. So let's get to your favorite song of the album, Real Friends.
That beat is so good. Like when I first heard it on SoundCloud, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool. This is fun." It like lands probably in my top 30 or 40 Kanye tracks, and the more I hear it, I'm listening to it now. It's just like this beat is so good. Lyrics are so good. Everything in this is so fucking good.
Did you? Because I feel like did you have that same reaction at first? Like because this came out a few weeks before the album came out.
That's like the first episode we did this. We talked to Real Friends.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot, but in my head it was like I keep comparing everything to Dark Fantasy.
Yeah.
And the song I was like, oh, this is like as good as the best 2/3 of Dark Fantasy, and I was like, that's really cool. I was hoping the rest of the album I'd like it as much as this song, but then I instantly heard the clip from No Parties in LA, and I was like, I don't think the album is going to be Real Friends album. But this could be. It's a perfect like I don't want to say old school, but like old school Kanye hip hop track combined with really like honest lyrics, and it's so emotional feeling. Like the beat, I don't know, I really love it. And it hit me, I guess, maybe 2 days ago, listening to it for like the 10th or 11th time. And I just put it on after, like I put the album on, and when it hit Real Friends, something just hit me, and I was like, this is even higher than like I like this. He does, I mentioned this on the podcast, he does a lot of like Tupac, like, yep, like I think, but it's more than just that. Like this, I put up like not just as one of the best Kanye tracks, but like it's really up there for me, just period, with hip hop. I don't know. I love it. Like you don't like.
It's up there on this album.
I'm just saying like a lot, but man, you don't hear rappers talking like this.
Right.
Even Kanye. Even Kanye.
Yeah, Kanye. Yeah.
You don't hear this, and it's a beautiful thing, just to kind of like really get that kind of introversion. And even like I know more like rock stars, or not stars, but like rock bands will talk about that kind of stuff. But hip hop is such a perfect genre for, I'm just going to tell it to you how it is. Yeah. Like I'm going to say what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling. And like with a lot of rock stuff, you may feel that, but a lot of times it's because those lyrics are vague and they could apply to any situation.
Yeah.
But to actually empathize with someone, there's a difference between having someone say something and going, oh, I feel that too, but you relate it to your personal situation. This is, I don't relate to a word that he said in that song, but
it's a glimpse into that, to his madness.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I love that song, and I love it a lot.
Yeah.
So tell me about Wolves. Pitch me on Wolves. Why should I count that in my version of the album?
I don't know. Well, I'm a little swayed by the end of Real Friends kind of bleeds into the beginning of Wolves with the.
That's true.
The I don't know what you want to call it. The singing.
Yeah.
Dakota. Yeah. I don't know. It's just a feeling to me.
No, I can see that, and I really like the so it's called Wolves and has that like synthesized vocal in the background.
Yeah.
But dude, like, what's crazy? There's something funny because there's a. Did you ever play Metal Gear Solid?
No.
So PS1 game, story wise, one of the greatest games, period, in gaming. Like the story of it is amazing. The art direction is amazing, and there is a woman who's like one of the bad guys. She goes by the name Sniper Wolf. And during the scenes where she's either like sniping you or like after you kill all the bosses, it's like a prelude to Assassin's Creed in the sense that like you kill the boss and then it's a cutscene with the boss basically quickly telling you their life story and philosophy, and it's as they're like dying in your arms after you just killed them, and it's like it's and her thing, like, while any scene that has her in it has this like it's wolf themed. You're also in Alaska and there's no wolves and shit, but like it's wolf themed, but at the same time the the music in the background has this synthesized vocal thing. And I don't think it was intentional. I think it was more parallel thinking, because Amy Schumer produced this track. I don't know if you know that, but it was parallel thinking because it was like they had nothing. They had I think it's just you associate the idea of like wolves and the cold wilderness with that kind of like audio vibe. And I thought that was just a perfect fit for it. And then I remembered the video game, and I was like, oh shit, it's pretty cool. I don't know, I like it. Yeah, it's cool. I like it. Maybe I should.
This is also the this was the first track we heard off this album. This is what he performed at the SNL 40 back in like almost a year ago from now.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Huh. I completely forgot about that. That's cool.
And that was a version with Vic Mensa and Sia, who are not on this version. This version has Frank Ocean and Caroline Shaw.
So he had so on that version he had Carlos Mencia, and now he has Amy Schumer. Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
God, do we have to have a conversation about this, about the intricacies of accused plagiarism in comedy today? All right. So here's what's gonna happen for the next. Yeah, that's fair. Here's what's gonna happen for the next 5 tracks. Tell me about them, because I don't give a shit.
Any of them?
The Silver Surfer I thought was kind of cool because
it's an intermission. Yeah,
it's fine. I didn't realize it was improv at first. And I was like, this has to be improv. And then it was like, hey, I'm just freestyling this. I was like, okay, you're right, it's improv. So what else is there? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
No, so 30 hours is next. 30 hours. This song grooves, man.
Yeah.
This is the song that I'll be in the club grooving to while you're with your back against the wall hanging out.
Nursing my drink.
Not that this is like a club banger, but like it's just a groove to it, man. I don't know, like I love the effect on that.
You're right. I'm an idiot. I'm listening to it now. This is amazing.
Whatever that sample is, like the effect on the vocals in that is just so. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really cool.
No, I like it a lot. You're right. I'm an idiot.
And then he just freestyles for the last half of the song.
Yeah.
And he brings out Andre 3000, who like everybody has been wanting him to do music again for the past, I don't know, when's the last time he did something? 8 years ago?
Yeah.
And he has him doing like backup vocals on like 2 minutes of a song that's essentially a bonus track on his album.
He's Kanye, between the Rihanna, Chris Brown thing, Andre 3000, he's pulling out all the stops. Like he's got like hidden Big L and like Notorious B.I.G. verses on this thing.
Yeah. And we know Kanye's a huge Andre 3000 fan. And he still has him singing backup, like singing the hook on a song.
The outro of Fade is actually Jay-Z and Diamond Dash like reconciling. This album,
that was just the demo version though. It didn't make the final cut.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. It just wasn't momentum. This album brought Palestine and Israel together. Yeah. So like Kanye just. And by the way, that's another thing. I feel like if Kanye like actually changed the world in a major positive way, like a Israel-Palestine type thing, he would never tell anybody. I feel like that's just how he works. Yeah. But if Nike doesn't return his calls, watch out.
Yeah. And 30 hours, like you can tell, this is one of the songs he went and changed after the premiere at Madison Square Garden. Like he mentions just finished at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that's right.
He went back in the studio and was like adding to this. Like this song also came out a week or two before the album did, and it's a minute and a half longer on this version because he went back and added all this freestyle stuff.
All right, can we skip No More Parties? Because we talked about that before.
I guess you're right. Huh? But we're also skipping it because you don't like it. Just admit that.
We're also skipping it because we're almost 3 times the amount of length we were going to spend on this thing, and that's mostly because of me. But I want to hear about. I want to get pitched on Facts and Fade because I think I hate those.
I will pitch you on, first of all, real quick. No More Parties in LA has, I think, some of the best rapping on the album. Facts is, it's
I was
better than
expecting Cash Money to come in.
Facts is better than the original Facts version we got.
Oh, Liz. Okay.
In my opinion, the original Facts, man, I remember when that came out, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But if I view it as just like a throwaway track that he thought of and recorded in an afternoon, then I'm fine with it. So this version of Facts, like whatever, I could do without this version of Facts. Fade. Oh my god.
You like Fade?
I love Fade. I love how opposite our favorites and least favorites in this album are.
I know. It's so funny.
Fade.
Wish it faded after 10 seconds. Is this thing on?
Fade, another one that just grooves and like I'm feeling it and I'm just have it cranked up in my headphones and wherever I'm walking, I got the swagger in me, I'm feeling it.
Hate Fade.
What about it do you hate?
Oh, the song.
All right, Sweeney.
Yeah, sorry. I get Sweeney when if it's just, that's fair because it's like there are certain things where something will hit me about a song and I'll just go, nope. I actually just straight up forgot about 30 Hours. I think that's why I didn't like it. And Wolves is whatever. I know I did because I definitely liked it when I heard it, but I guess I forgot what 30 Hours was. Dude, I thought 30 Hours was the Silver Surfer intermission at the beginning of this podcast. Like I clearly forgot what it was. Dude, I don't know if I told you this, but like I used to, now I don't have time to do it, but I used to, every time a new episode of a comedy or something came out or a stand-up special, I would watch it twice. And the second time I'd watch it, even if it was a day after the first time, I would have forgotten 90% of what the jokes were. Like I take stuff in and it just disappears. And so like I need to hear stuff multiple times and I forget details and whatnot. But this album is really cool. I definitely like it more than Late Registration and 808s. It doesn't come close, in my opinion, to what's it called? To Dark Fantasy or to Graduation. I think it's definitely below, but not super far below Late or College Dropout. And I think it is just it's a little bit under Yeezus as well. That's kind of where I place it.
All right, so let's do that. What's your at this point in time? What's your Kanye album ranking?
Okay, I'm going to do it from 0 to 10, so you kind of get an idea of the range. And
I'm saying put them in order.
No, that's what I'm going to do. But each one is on a range, so you can kind of see. It's not like so. I gotcha. So 0 doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's my least favorite. I love them all. So if so let's say 10. It's a spectrum. So 10 is Dark Fantasy because I love it so much. And 0 is Late Registration. Because that's my least favorite, even though I do like it. Okay. So if we're going, bottom up, or so 0 would be Late Registration. I would say I would give maybe this one is probably comes after that. I'd probably put it as like a 2, and then I put Yeezus as like a 4, and I put College. Sorry, my bad. 0 is Late Registration. 808s is like a 2 or a 3. This one is like a 3 or a 4. And then Yeezus is a 6. Dropout is a 7. Which one am I? Graduation is a 9, and Dark Fantasy is a 10. Okay. That's how I put it.
All right.
How about you?
I don't like your system. Somebody you've known. I'll use your system. I'm gonna put 0 as 808s just because I'm by far the least familiar with it.
You need it to be from the streets. If it's not from the streets,
right? There's no groove. It's hard to just because I'm very much I can't just like if I want to listen to it, I'm gonna listen to it the whole way through, right? And it starts off with Longest Winter, I think, or Say You Will.
Sure. They all blend to me.
And
it's like a 60-minute song.
It's just it's too slow and droning for me to get into right off the bat. I do kind of feel bad about my unfamiliarity with 808s, but That's what it is. So that's a 0. I'll put late registration at like a 3.
Yeah.
There's some stuff on it, but some really good songs too that I like.
Yeah, polarizing. By the way, I hate Gold Digger. How about you?
I like Gold Digger.
I know you do. I hate Gold Digger. Sorry, keep going.
How do you feel about Heard Him Say and Touch the Sky? I love
those two. You actually got me in to check out that record because I heard it once and I was like, eh. And then you were like, there are songs on there. Go back. Yeah. And I was like, no, they're good. You're right. They're good.
Where are we? I think I'd put Graduation at like a 7.
See, that's why I like this system. You just jumped 4 numbers. That proves the point. Yeah. Okay. Graduation 7.
Graduation 7. College Dropout 8. Yeezus 9. Dark Fantasy 10. Oh, where's Pablo? I didn't think about Pablo. Pablo's like I'll give it a 5 or a 6.
Yeah. Okay. Then we're very similar. Even though every single one of those records, I bet we have very differing opinions about the song. That's so insane. And it's across the board too, because the first time I realized that it was with Weezer's Blue album, and like it was this weird like invert. We both love Only in Dreams, but everything else was like completely inverted for our favorite songs, and it's like it just spans across time and space and genre. All right, well this was a fun review.
Yeah,
I hope
one thing I'm very excited with this album. I'm excited to see if they're ever like I don't know. I still don't feel like it's finished. Like it hasn't been for sale anyway. It's not untitled. I mean, it's on Tidal, but that's it. I've heard plenty of. I've read a lot online about people who tried to purchase it Untitled but still never got their downloads.
So great.
There's no CD. It's not on Amazon, iTunes, anywhere, Spotify. It's only on Tidal. Like, is this album going to come out in mass
Kanye
distribution?
On Victory Records? Come on, people. Let me reference a band that nobody knows except for me. All right.
So I feel like this album still has some legs to it because
it's still got some room to grow. We're going to be doing these until we're like 50.
Right.
We're going to be reviewing every version of it. That's the updated Steven Spielberg presents Life of Pablo.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, cool.
So,
well,
thanks for listening. Let us know what you think of the album. Hit us up. You can find me on Twitter. Hit me up with your thoughts on the album at @B_Heartland.
You can find me at Eric Tries.
And check out more episodes of this and other great podcasts at erictries2hard.com.
And subscribe on iTunes because it turns out there's a box you can check on the RSS feed that instead of just having 10 episodes up, you can have as many as you want. And I checked that box the other day after 2 years of having a podcast. So now you can actually go to iTunes and hear a bunch of podcasts. All right, we'll catch you guys at some point later, and we'll talk more about Is there a catchy way we can say Keeping Up with the West at the end of this?
I was trying to. What was it going to be? I was going to say.
Say you will.
What's he say at the end of Silver Surfer intermission?
He said, Eric deleted this already from my iTunes. I mean, I didn't have a download of it. I don't know how that happened.
I'm like skimming through it right now. Keep it wavy, something like that.
He does say keep it wavy.
All right, keep it wavy, everybody.
Keep it wavy.
See you in the next episode of Keeping Up with the West.
Peace.